Powered by Riverside FM.
Powered by Riverside.
Welcome to the UP. This is Unconventional Playbook. I'm your host, Lionel Jones, coming to you on a beautiful Saturday morning here in Wisconsin. Birds are out chirping, squirrels are running around. Just a beautiful country to live. Hit that like and subscribe button. Helps the channel to grow. Boy, we've had a lot of comments. A few pods ago, we had a little subject about Caitlin Clark, and the Caitlin Clark subject is always really, really passionate. But we had a lot of comments, a lot of views, pretty much a hot topic, but we'll get to that later. Allergies are clearing up. I was struggling there for a couple days. My allergies, when I was a young kid, was really bad. Like, I remember going down south to my grandparents' farm, and my allergies would kick up and my eyes would be crusted together, and I had to constantly do drops, and I had to do medication that made me sleepy all the time. So I thought I had grown out of that. But the allergies have really, really hit me hard this year. So if you see me on this podcast with buggy eyes, weird looking, all that kind of stuff, please forgive me. Just struggling with the allergies. Can't wait till it's over with. Hopefully I'll be headed to Germany here in a couple of weeks, and hopefully the weather and the pollen and everything is a little bit better over there. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this Sports Illustrated article, prediction, whatever you want to call it. They got the Vikings being 3-14 this year, and that's got a lot of the Viking fans up in arms. What do you think? People in Minneapolis think the Vikings are going to be 3-14 this year. I mean, that's winning 3 games out of 17. And when the schedule came out, I did it a couple pods ago, I was really hard pressed to find a win on the schedule. And I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to, find a win. And with the Minnesota Vikings and the Sports Illustrated, it's easy to take offense to an article like that, because number one, they're saying you're going to be in last place. You're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. And I can see why they would think that way. Like, let me be clear. I don't think it's going to happen. But I do think that there is definitely a possibility that it could. And I understand why people think so. Number one, the offensive line is kind of in flux. Is this the best offensive line that we could put together? I agree, it's not one of the worst offensive lines in the league, but there are some holes. There are some question marks. Really on the inside of that line, I think our right tackle, left tackle is pretty good. Our center is questionable, bad back. I mean, he's had bad backs for the last couple years. And then our 2 guards that we have, I don't know if our offensive line is going to be stout. I know we just signed Dalton Reisner again to a year contract, so he adds a little bit of depth. But I think there are some question marks there. I think there's also some question marks in our interior defensive line. Like, out of all the holes that we were able to fill during free agency and maybe the draft, I think we got our linebacker situation together. We brought in a couple of new cornerbacks. We're pretty stout. One of the best and deepest safety rooms in the league. We got our pass rushers together, but what about D-tack? What about defensive tackle? Like, that's a question mark. So that's a hole as well. Plus, you look at our defense last year, as improved as it was, and I'm a B-flow guy, that Hellfire defense, we were ranked 28th in the league last year. So now you combine that offensive line, questionable defense. We all know B-flow is going to get that defense together, but right now they really haven't. They proved that they could take a step. They haven't proved that they can be one of the top 15 defenses in the league. Okay? Now you bring in an Aaron Jones at the running back position. Vikings was one of the worst rushing teams in the league. And now you add an Aaron Jones. Now, I think an Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers, arguably, last 5 games of the season last year was the best running back in the league, arguably. But he's been injury prone the last couple of years for the Green Bay Packers. That's something that you have to take into consideration when you're looking at predictions and what you think teams are going to do. So you could argue that the backfield may be in question as well. I believe that if Aaron Jones stays healthy, that the Minnesota Vikings are going to have one of the best rushing attacks in the league, along with Ty Chandler to back him up. But that has to happen first. I think we're solid at wide receiver, but here's the deal. The most important position on an NFL football field is what? Quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is a rookie. People are projecting that he may start the season at third string, not ready. He's got to get his fundamentals together. The verbiage out of Vikings training camp, OTAs, and mandatory minicamp is that he's got to get his footwork together. That's, in KOC's offense, he always talks about rhythm and timing. So his footwork becomes essentially really, really important. Then you have Sam Darnold, who has literally not been able to do what everybody expected him to do at his previous 3 stops. 1 stop as a backup in San Francisco. Then he had he beat out Baker Mayfield in Carolina. And then he was the Jets starting quarterback. Carolina Jets, not a great place to be. Not a lot of stability there. Not a lot of great coaching or ownership. So you have yet to see what Sam Darnold is going to do. With all of these things in play, can you blame Sports Illustrated for going 3-14? Like, get rid of your heart. Get rid of the emotions. Like, all of these question marks for the Minnesota Vikings, I've come out and said that they will not be a playoff team this year. It doesn't make me any less of a Vikings fan, just realistic. I see them winning about 6 or 7 games. I don't see them winning 3 games. Like, I don't think we'll be that bad. But I see why someone that doesn't watch the team all the time, that's not affiliated with the team, could look at all of the holes and all of the question marks that we have on this football team and say the Vikings are going to be 3-14. Then you throw in what our division looks like. The Chicago Bears arguably is going to have one of the best receiving corps in the league. They're going to have one of the best defenses in the league. They're going to be vastly improved. Now, I think it remains to be seen how much improvement the Chicago Bears are going to do. We all know what the Lions did last year. I don't know if they're going to replicate their season from last year, but I think it's safe to say that they're going to be pretty damn good. They're going to be pretty damn good. And then the Packers are always the Packers. No matter what obstacle the Packers face, they always find a way to be pretty good. And now they're on their 3rd quarterback that could be pretty good. It's amazing what they do at the quarterback position. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love. So I think you have to put them ahead of the Vikings as well. You got to play each one of those teams twice. That could be 6 losses right there, right off the bat. And then our non-conference schedule is not very forgiving. There may be a couple games there where if you're not shoring things up with the running game, the offensive line, and the quarterback position, you're going to have a tough time. I think the Vikings, as good as they have the potential to be on offense, I think they're going to have to rely on some defensive play to help them in some of these games, unless Sam Darnold is just lights out. And people, I have a feeling that Sam Darnold could have a pretty good year. but that remains to be seen. So the 3-14 thing, I just wanted to comment on because I'm not so upset with that prediction. I do think we will be better, but I understand. I get it. I understand. Caitlin Clark. Man, I promised you guys that I wasn't going to make this a Caitlin Clark show, but she's in the news. Man, her name just keeps coming up, and I'm a big Caitlin Clark guy. I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. I just love dogs, and Caitlin Clark is a dog. So it sounds like she's going to be left off the Olympic team. She, because of her run with Iowa, she missed, the USA training camp. That's the excuse that they're given. And I'm not saying anything underhanded is going on with leaving Caitlin Clark off the Olympic team. I'm not going to go that far. They just chose to go a different direction. So she will not be traveling to Paris this summer, which is fine. Even without Caitlin Clark, the U.S. team is very formidable. If not the best team in the world without Caitlin Clark on the roster. You look at a lot of the savvy veterans that they brought in. I think they're going to be okay. I think there may be a lot of Caitlin Clark's fan club that will be disappointed that she won't be participating in Paris, and that's okay. If I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm sure she's disappointed and not disappointed. I mean, she had a remarkable run in Iowa. Then she gets catapulted into the WNBA. She's got a tough season going on right now. And I think, honestly, if you were to ask her deep down inside, she probably would want a break. Just a little bit of a break to spend time with family and her boyfriend and just be a normal individual and just get away from basketball a little bit. Plus, she's going to have other opportunities to be on the Olympic team. She's going to be a 2 to 3-time gold medalist. Her career is going to be long and vast. So I'm not worried about Caitlin Clark participating in the Olympics. She's going to have her time. She's going to have her moment. Here's my message to the USA Olympic team for the women. Now that Caitlin Clark will be out of the way, and personally, I don't know if I was Caitlin Clark, if I would even want to go over there and be in that environment with that team. I'm not saying that she would be treated wrong or she wouldn't be welcome. Hopefully, the women over there would be professional enough to have one focus in mind as a team, and that's to win a gold medal. But if I'm Caitlin Clark, the way that I've been treated since I've entered the league, I don't know if I'm going to be too quick to join that squad over there. Because in reality, I think they'll be fine on the court. But what is the locker room going to look like? What is the hotel stays going to look like? What is the travel going to look like? I mean, you've got to be bonded with your teammates. And right now, there's a little bit of hate going on. So my message to USA Basketball is you guys are great. You're going to be fine without Caitlin Clark. I have no issue with it. But here's my statement to you. Don't lose. You better not lose. You better not lose. If you are, you can't play two sides of the fence. If you are the women that you say you are, well, we're going to take care of her when she comes in the league. You got to be that when you go to the Olympics. There can't be any missteps. You got to go over there. You got to compete. As hard as you compete against Caitlin Clark, you've got to go over there and compete just as hard against China and just as hard against Germany. Be that woman over there. Same physicalness, same competitiveness, same nastiness. You better not lose. You better not come home with the silver. You better not come home with the bronze. It's gold or bust, baby. It's gold or bust. And I'm confident that our USA women's basketball team is going to do it. They've got the roster to do it. They'll have the coaching staff to do it. I'm just recognizing their greatness. This is not throwing them under the bus. I recognize their greatness, and they should show it every step of the way over in Paris. No excuses. You don't have to worry about Caitlin Clark being a part of the team. You can go for what you know over in Paris. Man, lots of stuff to talk about. Super excited about Patrick Buchanan joining the show, the Minnesota sports guru, next week. A lot of good stuff going on with Unconventional Playbook. Over 5,000 subscribers and still climbing, baby. Still climbing. Appreciate you tuning in. This is the UP. We're going to have a little bit of something for you every day. Good content. Hit that like and subscribe button. Keep the station going. Help us with the algorithms. If you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. I like all of the comments that I've gotten so far on all of the podcasts, all the emails. I love waking up each morning and reading those things. It's absolutely fantastic. Makes my day. This has been Unconventional Playbook. I will make sure to see you when I see you. Have a good Saturday.
Powered by Riverside.